Hi again, this is Chris Van Patten from Van Patten Media, and I'm here today with a quick tip that'll get you started on how to customize the WordPress admin menu. And what I mean by the admin menu is this area here on the left side of WordPress, the posts and media and all those different things there. So I'm showing you this right now with WordPress 3.4.2. Hopefully by the time that you see this, 3.5 will be released. I have no doubt that it will, but if you see little things during this tutorial that seem a little bit off based on your current version of WordPress, that's why I'm using a slightly older version. Just to get started, the idea is with customizing your menus, if you have clients or if you're working with your own WordPress site, some of the options in that sidebar might not be all that useful to you. If you're doing a site that's only pages, so if you're using WordPress exclusively as a CMS, the posts menu, for example, might not be all that useful. And certainly along those lines, the comments option would probably be similarly not useful. A lot of people don't use the links option, and while they're fixing that for 3.5, if you're managing a legacy site that couldn't be upgraded for some reason, you might want to get rid of that links option. If you never go into the media library, if you do all your media management from posts or page editing, that's another thing that you could probably tweak and hide. Now, there are also advantages to being able to add your own menu items. So if you're working with a special plugin that you want to have a link to, or maybe if you want to have links to off-site content, you might want to have that available and easily accessible in the sidebar here. So there are a lot of ways you can go about doing that. You can use some custom code, or one method that I'm going to show you is using a plugin called Admin Menu Editor. This is a great free plugin that has a pro version. We'll talk a little bit about the differences, but it's basically a great way to get started with this customization. So as always, we're going to go to Add New Plugins, and we will search for Admin Menu Editor, and there it is. And we're going to install that. It says top option here. So nothing's going to change immediately except that we are going to get a new option under settings that we can go to called Menu Editor. And you can see here that it has the full outline of our menu right in place already. And it's very easy to get an idea of how things are going to work. So for example, let's say that I want to hide links for some reason. I can click on it. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click this little guy here, this little puzzle piece that says Show Hide when I hover over it. I'll click that and you'll see that it instantly gets that icon there and tells me this icon, or this item rather, is hidden. So I'll save that change. And you'll see that that's instantly reflected there, that it's been removed. You could do other customizations too other than just showing and hiding things. For example, if I want to move pages up to posts, or up next to posts, I can do that. I can save that there. And now my posts and pages are grouped together. Maybe posts doesn't make a lot of sense to your users, or even for your own purposes, how you're using WordPress. Maybe you're using the post section as a news section for your site. You can actually customize what that menu says. So I'm going to drop that down here, and I can actually edit menu title there. So I'm going to call that News, and I'm going to save changes. And you'll see, again, instantly reflected there. And you can do the same for submenu items as well. So anytime you click on an item, if it has children, you'll see them on the right side. So I'll update all posts to say all news items. And there you go. It's been instantly changed, and that's all set there. You can also add separators. So if I click here, I can drag a separator up in between pages and media. And instantly you can see that I've done a little bit of customization here, and I'm making things a bit easier to work with. So maybe I've got a menu or widgets that I want my client to be able to use, but I don't necessarily want them to be able to work with adjusting themes or appearances and that kind of thing. That's easy to do as well. So all you have to do is click into Appearance, and you're going to want to take note of this information here, of the title, the required capability, and the URL. So I'm going to copy this information here, and then I'm going to click over here. I'm going to click New Menu, and it's going to create a new option down here. I'm going to call that Widgets. I'll paste in the capability, and then I could also manually type in widgets.php, or I can find it down here. And then I can drag this up into place. Maybe I'll put a new separator so they can easily find where their menu item is. And I'll click Save Changes. Obviously, you're going to want to make sure that the appropriate permissions and capabilities are in place. It's important to note that even if you hide a menu item, that doesn't mean that it's totally inaccessible. If they manage to stumble across a URL, or if somebody finds that and still has access to that content according to their roles and capabilities, they're still going to be able to access that information on your site. So just hiding a menu item is a great step for cleaning things up a little bit, but it's not perfect if you're trying to cordon off content a little bit. So I talked briefly that there is a Pro version, and you can see that down here advertised. So what does that offer? Basically, well, this is the admin menu editor website, but the Pro version brings the ability to section off sections of your menu based on user roles. So maybe editors see certain menu items that authors don't, or general subscriber users who want to manage their profile. If you do logged in users for comments and things, they see some options that are specific to them as well. And that's going to let you have a little more flexibility, again, using WordPress as a CMS. So what do you want to do? How do you manage a menu editor type scenario if you don't actually want to use this plugin or one of the other plugins available on the WordPress plugin directory? Luckily, WordPress has built in lots of great API options, and they're all listed here in the codex. You can add in menu pages, you can add and remove links very easily, and you can do all sorts of good stuff there. This is a great option if you're really into code, and especially if you realize you're sort of doing the same things a lot. You can write that out in code as a plugin and have that be portable between lots of different installs. So I just wanted to show briefly an example of a menu that has been designed for a specific site. So this is a site that we're building at Van Patten Media, and you can see that the menu actually is very different from the standard WordPress menu. We've reorganized on the side, so we've got a couple of custom post types here, and we've got our pages at the top, and then those post types down below here. We've also added direct links to menu editing and widgets. We've removed the appearances menu entirely, so it's actually impossible to get there unless you click here on the home page, on the dashboard. And the reason that we do that is it's just easier. Most of the folks working on this site don't need access to change the theme, but they do need access to change certain bits of the theme. So we can actually hover over menus and click any of these options, and it will take us directly to edit that menu, and the same goes for widgets as well. We've really streamlined it and focused on making it easy to use and really focused on the client experience. Every menu is going to be different for every site, so really take some time and think about it, and don't be afraid to change. If you're getting feedback from your client that they aren't using a certain feature or do want a certain feature, feel free to change that as you go along. It doesn't need to be set in stone. And also don't be afraid to make these changes for yourself. Just because I'm showing you these examples on client websites and I sort of talk about that perspective, doesn't mean these changes couldn't be useful for yourself as well. They might help you streamline your own process and make it easier to find what you're looking for as you work. I just tend to talk about the client experience because that's where I'm coming from as the Van Patten Media guy. So thanks for checking this video out. Be sure to check out our blog, vanpattenmedia.com/blog, where you can find other great WordPress tutorials written down in text with code and all sorts of fun stuff, as well as other great web design articles. You can also sign up for our ebook to get notified when that's released about customizing WordPress. Thank you so much.